All right, so let's imagine that we have our human class from before and we want to print it, for example. So I want to just print line the h variable. Unfortunately, this will turn rather ugly because the default implementation of toString just dumps some memory address or something. Similarly, let's imagine a situation where I want to compare this human to another human. So let's say I have human h2, which has exactly the same values, Dimitri and 1, 2, 3. And now if I print line h equals h2, unfortunately, I will get a false because equals hasn't been implemented. So here it is. Now, how can I get all this functionality and more for free? And the answer to that is you can change the class from an ordinary class to a data class. Now, a data class automatically gives you lots of functionality generated automatically by the compiler. So let's talk about what you get. First of all, you get equals and hash code. So you get equality taken care of. Next up, you get a default implementation of toString. So the printout will be a lot nicer. The other thing that's kind of really cool is you get destructuring generated for you. And we'll talk about destructuring later, but I'll show you how to actually get it now. And finally, the thing that you get is a function called copy, which can actually perform a deep copy of your object. So let's take a look at how these work. So we already have a printout and we already have comparison. So if I run both of these, you can see that the printout is much nicer now. So instead of some memory address, we actually get some useful information about the name and the age, and also the comparison now returns true. But let's look at some of the other features. First of all, let's take a look at copying. So essentially, you can have another variable, let's say h3, and you can take h and do h.copy, which does a deep copy of everything inside h, and we can actually verify that these are not the same object. I can print line their reference comparison, so I can say h triple equals h3, and this should give us a false, basically meaning that these are entirely different objects. Okay, so this is the copying, and finally destructuring, which is also really awesome. So essentially what you can do, what you can get for free, is you can write something like val name comma age equals h. Now what's happening here? Essentially, when you make a data class, you automatically get an implementation of destructuring of the properties in the order in which they are written. So you will destructure the values from, first of all, the name and then the age. So I've written here val name age equals h. This essentially opens up h, takes out the name and the age, and assigns the name and age fields. And then I can print out these variables. So I can do a print line, and I can do name comma age, and this will simply print out the values that we got from age. So let's see what we get. So here it is, Dimitri and 123. So this is a really useful opportunity to change an ordinary class into a class where all of these things, which typically in Java you would get through code generation, here you get them for free. But let's imagine that you don't like the default implementation of toString, for example. Everything is customizable in the sense that right here in this class you can override the toString implementation. So for example, I can do override fun toString, which returns a string, obviously. And then here I can return, for example, my name is $name and I am $age years old. And now if we execute this program once again, you'll see that the toString output here has now been changed to our override